Did you get a call from Dad? No luck connecting at all. The ceremony's about to start. Maybe try calling one more time, just in case? Maybe I should. I dialed the phone so my son could hear, putting it on speaker mode. Sorry, I've been unable to answer the phone. Where are you and what are you doing? My mom's funeral is about to begin. We're currently on a trip to Guam with my mom. Is there anything planned after the funeral? We're here for 2 nights and 3 days, so if you can make it, you should come too. It's way better than the brochures we once saw. Guam. Why aren't you here for my mom's funeral? Don't tell me this trip to Guam was the one we were supposed to go on? I told you I had to cancel because of my mom's stuff, remember? Yeah, you mentioned it, but I really wanted to go to Guam, and it seemed a waste to cancel, so I brought my mom instead of you. My mom's been having trouble walking, so she's grateful to travel while she still can. Isn't that great? How is it great that you're in Guam during my mom's funeral? I thought about it after your mom passed. I needed to make sure I did right by my mom while she was still here, to live without regrets. It doesn't have to be today, though. Well, I've used up all my vacation days. I thought it was good timing since I could take bereavement leave. I think this is a gift from your mom, telling me to cherish my own mother. I began to feel silly for even talking to my husband. My son had been speechless from the moment his father mentioned being in Guam, completely dumbfounded. Well, I'll be back soon, then. Oh, okay. I, too, was completely fed up with my husband. The more we talked, the more tired I felt, so I decided to hang up. But just then, a hand reached out and snatched my smartphone away. In that moment, my husband's life was over. I'm Ava, a 54-year-old office worker. My son, Kevin, is 26 and has already found a job and moved out, so it's just me and my husband, Jack, living together. After finishing raising our child, we were enjoying a quiet life, working and spending time together as a couple, but after our son moved out, something significant happened. Will you be home early today? Probably. If you need anything from the store, I can grab it. Could you pick up some toilet paper and dish soap from our usual drugstore? My husband and I used to leave for work at the same time. But once our son moved out, my husband started coming home earlier than he used to, while I often came home late when our son was still living with us. My husband is 3 years younger than me, in his mid-40s at this time. I thought maybe I was no longer in the age group that works relentlessly like in my 20s and 30s. I wasn't finishing work as late as I used to, but neither was I questioning it. If anything, I was grateful that my husband started helping more around the house after our child-raising years were over. However, about a year after our son moved out, my husband dropped a bombshell. Ava, I'm sorry. I've been fired from my job.
Wait, what? Why? What happened?
You know I've been coming home early lately? It wasn't because work ended early, I was actually skipping work. You skipped work to the point of getting fired? Yeah. The company had given me several written warnings to properly do my job. But I thought they couldn't just fire an employee that easily, so I ignored those warnings. And then, skipping work escalated to taking unauthorized absences. Unauthorized absences. But we left the house together. We did leave together, but I'd kill time at a cafe, did shopping you asked for, grabbed lunch, and came back home by noon. Why would you do that? I don't really know. Suddenly, I just lost all motivation for work. The more I thought I needed to get motivated, the less motivated I became. My husband answered quietly, without looking at me. When I looked at his face, it was as if he was on the verge of world collapse. He seemed deeply remorseful about his mistakes. Though he said he didn't understand why this happened, I had a hunch about the reason. Probably, he had burnt out completely after our child rearing was done. And unfortunately, my burnt-out husband had other worsening factors. What were you doing at home, skipping work? Mostly, my mom came over because her house is close by, you know. Whenever I told her I was off work, she came over. We sometimes went out together even before. Having been raised in a single-mother household, my husband deeply valued his mother. It's good to cherish one's mother. I was raised in a single-mother household too, so I cherish my mother as well. However, my mother-in-law, being doted on by my husband, couldn't let go of him. Because our houses were close, she'd often come over, buying things for him, and suggesting they go on trips together, favoring her son over her grandson. However, my husband wasn't without common sense. He'd tell his mother not to come over too often and would take me and our son along for trips, maintaining a reasonable distance. His burnout must have thrown off the balance, making it hard to maintain a proper distance with his mother. My mother-in-law, happy to be treated kindly by her beloved son, didn't say anything against skipping work. The two of them ended up creating the worst synergistic effect, resulting in my husband's disciplinary dismissal. If my husband turned into a mama's boy to the point of getting fired for skipping work, I'd consider divorce. But he was aware of his mistakes and regretted it. And this happened partly because of the burnout from the end of child rearing and partly because his relationship with his mother was well geared in the wrong direction. Besides, we've been together for over 25 years without major issues. Though his mistake was huge, I couldn't abandon him over one fault and reluctantly decided to forgive him. You won't make the same mistake again, right?
Of course not. I'll work hard.
Then, start job hunting right away. I supported my husband's fresh start, and he immediately took action to meet my expectations. Yet, I would come to regret not divorcing him at that moment. He began searching for work in earnest, reflecting on his actions. Seeing his sincere effort in job hunting, I felt reassured that the same issue wouldn't happen again, but it seems the world wasn't so kind. Another rejection. It's okay. You have the experience and skills. There must be a company that needs you. My husband continued to receive rejections through calls, emails, and various methods. The fact that he was dismissed for disciplinary reasons from his previous job was definitely impacting his job search negatively.